Merry Christmas. It's Christmas morning. We did everything different this year. My sister-in-law from Georgia was in. So we went and did what we normally do on Christmas morning, on Christmas Eve. So now it's Christmas morning and I'm sitting around the house, and today I'm filling up the bird feeders. And I'm going to be gone for a while. So now is the time to make sure they got something to eat while I'm gone. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while on bird feeders. I just hadn't got around to it. I love watching wildlife, whether it's squirrels, birds, deer, coyotes. Some of them I like killing them after I watch them a little bit. Some of them I don't want to kill them, I just want to watch them. Birds are in the I want to watch you category. So what I have here is a metal bird feeder. And I got this bird feeder probably 3 years ago at Tractor Supply. It's all metal, copper top, metal sides. It's called squirrel proof. I'm going to show you. If a squirrel tries to get up here, his weight covers the seed. So he can kind of shake it, but he doesn't get much. So anyways, I hang it on a chain, and that way they can't chew the string loose, because that happens. A plastic bird feeder just won't last long. So you need a metal one. And I think I paid $22 or $3 or $4. 20 to 25 bucks. You get a metal one. This is its 3rd year. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The feed stays dry. It'll hold 5 to 7 pounds of feed. Hang it on a chain. It works great. I buy my bird seed in a bag, and I live out in the woods, and if I put this bag in my garage and just set it down, sooner or later a mouse will get into it. So if I bought a big 50-pound sack of bird seed and put it in my garage, a mouse will do the same thing. So I put these in 100-pound Cal Hypo buckets. This is a swimming pool chemical, and then I just keep a coffee can in there, and I scoop out what I need. So I'm going to top this one off. We'll take it around back and fill up the feeders in the back. This is for these little finches and little bitty small birds. Let me show you what I put that in. This is what they call a thistle feeder or a finch feeder. It's got little screens, and it's metal top. There again, if you live in squirrel country, which is, I guess, the lower 48, yeah, maybe even Alaska, maybe even Hawaii, I don't know where squirrels go. If you live in Arkansas, you better get a metal one, because if you get a plastic one, a squirrel will get up here and he'll chew right through the plastic and empty it out. So this is a real fine feed, and it's about half full, so I'm going to go ahead and top it off while I'm here. I have this one hanging from a metal coat hanger. And I mean, a squirrel could get up here, but it's metal. He can't do much. I'm sure a coon could tear it off. And Lord, if a bear comes by, he can push the whole tree down. But if a bear comes by, we'll deal with him differently. Squirrels, they're the biggest nuisance. Don't even buy a plastic bird feeder. You're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. So get you a metal one and hang it up. By the way, if you notice in my mix, it's probably 75% sunflower seeds. Most of the birds I feed here, they eat sunflower seeds, and if you look underneath the feeder, it's the millet and the milo. It's the little tiny red and white seeds that they don't eat unless they absolutely have to. So I buy a heavily mixed with a lot of black oil sunflower seeds in them, and then I add about the same amount of black oil sunflower seeds. So my mix is probably, I'm going to say 80%, 90% black oil sunflower seeds. And that's what most of the birds in my area want. But by keeping a finch feeder out, and I also have a cake feeder for woodpeckers and stuff like that on an old stump. By keeping these 3 different types of feed out, I keep a large cross section of birds. I mean, I can look out here at any given time. You never know what you're going to see. So let's move around back. We'll fill that one up as well. That bird waited long enough after I hung that feeder up for me to walk over to turn the camera off. I look back and he's already on it. I mean, it's like if you take it away for 3 minutes, they're starving when you get back. Okay, here what I have is just a board that I usually clean fish on. And I had a little, somebody, I don't know where I got this. This is like a little cookie sheet. We wasn't ever using it. I don't know if we bought it for a craft or something. Anyways, whenever the bottom of the thistle feeder kind of gets cakey with stuff they didn't want to eat, kind of falls down there and gets in place, I just take it and throw it over here. I throw a handful of seeds over here. Christmas time, you always get a bunch of oranges, apples, fruit baskets. My mom, we're going over there this afternoon, I guarantee you, I have an apple and an orange or something in my stocking. So what I do, since some of these oranges really is just an opportunity for the produce section at the store to get rid of all their old oranges, and they're not worth eating, a lot of them. So if you get a bad batch of oranges, then what I would do is just come out here to a pan like this and tear it open. There's juice running out of it. And I'll just rip it open like this in half. There's a nail. I don't want to bite into it, really, to be honest with you. I hate starting an orange peeling, don't you? With your teeth, you bite into it and get that old, like eating citrus cleaner. Alright, now we'll just leave them halves here. This one had a bad spot on the bottom. And a squirrel may take that off, and that's okay. Some kind of woodpecker may come up here and peck around on it. That's okay. What I found is if you'll take an old apple, any kind of fruit you're not going to eat, break it open and set it out here. You'll find a lot of birds will come by and eat it. A lot of different animals will eat it. Who knows, we might fatten up an old coon tonight and barbecue him later in the year. You never know. Just the way I feed the wildlife with leftover fruit and stuff I'm not going to eat. Let's go around back and check that feeder. Now I want to say a little bit about this feeder here. This feeder is made by the same company that makes the green one I have in the front yard. Problem with the green one in the front yard is that birds can only eat from one side. And you know, birds are pretty territorial and they like to protect their food. And you'll get one old mean cardinal that'll just sit here and keep everybody else ran off, or one blue jay. So also, if the feeder gets turned around, you can't see that side. So the front feeder, I have it hanging by a chain, and I have a string attached to the side that holds it where I can see the front. So I ran across this feeder, and there's some things about it I like and some things I don't. It's all metal with plexiglass, so you can't chew through it. It has the squirrel-proof guards on it, and squirrels get all over this tree, but they never get in this feeder. I've never seen a squirrel eating from a bird feeder since I switched to these. What I don't like about it is it's hanging by a cable. Now the cable's great for protecting it, but there's no way to take the lid off. And in order to get it down, you have to reach way above the cable, which I have it hanging from a clothes hanger. Anyways, it's a little harder to feel, but the good side is you can see either side. And I see birds on either side a lot at the same time. So it's got some pros and cons. I bought this one this year, so we'll see how well it holds up. The other one I said is 3 years old. Let's talk about some other things that you need to keep in mind for birds. A little something people don't understand that live in the city. You have a well-manicured yard. You have every little tree is trimmed up. There is no brush. Birds need brush. They need thick brush. They need protection at night from animals. I guess some of the bushes in your flower bed might work for that, but they also need dead wood. Dead wood attracts bugs, and bugs attract woodpeckers, and woodpeckers need dead wood to build their holes and homes in. And if you look at right up here, right there is a woodpecker hole last summer, and there was woodpeckers raised in it, and then the squirrels took it over this year, and there's several families of squirrels that have gone in and out of those holes in that dead tree. And dead timber would never be allowed in a neighborhood, but if you live out in the country and you have room for it and it's not going to fall on your home, let some dead trees stand. Here's another dead tree I'll show you over here. You see this tree right here? I'm going to just let you go up it real slow, and you look at all that bark that's been peeled off and all that wood that's been pecked on, and that's all woodpeckers. And woodpeckers have done that to that tree from top to bottom. So it's a good thing not to cut down every tree, even the dead ones. Birds need dead trees. Let me show you a tree down here that's used not just by birds and squirrels, but I have actually, this tree's a little far gone, but a few years ago there was a family of coons that raised in this tree. Now it's finally just fallen down. Look at that hollow tree. Get over here with the sunlight, ain't gonna blind you too bad. Can you see up in that hollow tree? I mean, squirrels run in and out of this. I can see this from my back door. Squirrels just run in and out of it, up and down it. Before the top finally rotted off, coons were living in here. They went in right here in the bottom, and they raised in there. I have several trees. We call them den trees, where coons would den in them. So part of watching wildlife is not just putting out food for them to eat, but it's giving them a place to stay. And that needs vines and brush and hollow trees and dead wood. All of that comes out. Now, when you think about putting your feeder out, I have a number of different feeders around my house for birds. You need to think about hanging them where you can see them. Notice this feeder in relation to my house. That's my back porch. That's the French doors going into my dining room. That's my kitchen window. If I'm washing dishes or ordering the kids to do it, I can look out the window and see birds out here on the bird feeder. And that's what you want. You want your bird feeders to be positioned where you can see them. The feeders you saw me filling up earlier in the front yard, I can look out my living room, depending on where I'm sitting on the sectional. I can look out and see a bird feeder, I can see a cake feeder, I can see a thistle feeder. So I can always look out the window and see birds or squirrels actively feeding. And that's what you want when you're feeding wildlife. Let me show you another way to feed wildlife. Now here we are on the back porch. And if you look, I mean, I've just got open woods all around my house. Everywhere I look, it's open woods. And in the wintertime, the leaves are gone. And even though you're looking into the sun, I think you guys can still see. I can see into the woods. But when the leaves are out, I can't see into the woods like this. So what I had to do was cut some lanes. And if you look right over the top of that old box blind, there's a lane, and I can see actually about 110 or 15 yards into the woods. And if you look right there, just to the other side of the box blind, there's another lane. And I have these lanes cut through the woods for the sole purpose of being able to view wildlife. And so rather than cutting down the woods and making it all pasture, I left the woods, I left the oak trees, I left the hackberry trees. I left all of them to feed the wildlife, to shelter them, because I like living in woods. But in order to be able to view them, I had to make a lane where I could see down through the woods. Now the reason I made that lane off to the side of my home and not straight out in my backyard is because I have this German Shepherd who likes to chase deer and bark at them. And I don't want him chasing off all the deer. So I feed the deer down to the side, and when I look out my back door, I can see from the kitchen straight down that lane. So even though I can see down it, Champ, the German Shepherd, he doesn't. It's blocked from his field of view. So there could be deer down there eating where I put out corn and nut grub, and they could eat there without Champ seeing them. And once Champ sees them, he's barking and yapping and pawing at the door and wanting to go outside, and he's just got to go out and protect us from the deer. So you feed the birds, you give them a dead tree or two to stay in. Think about feeding bigger game like deer. Let's run and give them some feed. I put down corn, and this is just whole kernel corn. I use the nut grub. You know, I did a video on that. You can look it up. Nut grub is a peanut meal and rice bran mix, and it's a powder, and I put it in 2 piles as well. And I keep out a trophy rock, which is like I think it's some kind of a salt rock. It's actually mined out of the ground, I think. Anyways, I keep that there. And so the deer have salt. They have 2 different forms of food. And then I keep a game camera out set on video so that it actually videos the animals when they come in. And that does a number of things for me. That tells me what I have for deer in my area. And it tells me how many deer I need to harvest. If I've got a whole bunch of does here, I need to kill some of them. I've got too many. If I have one really big buck, I need to let the little ones go and try to kill him, because I don't want to wipe the deer out. I don't want to kill every single one of them. I just want to kill enough for my own purposes, and I want to be selective about which ones I do that. So I don't hunt here. I just feed deer here. It helps them get through the winter. It gives them the fat they need to produce healthy fawns and recover from the rut. And then I hunt away from here, but I'm far enough away that I know what I have in the area for deer, and I'm not just sitting here looking over a corn pile. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not what I want to do here. I want to look at these deer and watch them. So let me tell you once again, Merry Christmas. Thank you guys for watching my channel. I'm going to be out of town for a couple days. I'm going on a hunting trip. So while I'm gone, you probably won't see a video. So I want to tell you Merry Christmas. I want to thank you for watching Preacher's Day Off. It really, I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy that you enjoy my videos. And I hope this kind of, if you're not feeding birds and squirrels and deer and stuff, I hope this encourages you to get started. If you are, maybe it'll give you some things, maybe help you do it a little better. And I'm not an expert in it, but this is the way I do it. And hopefully it'll help you and help the birds and the deer. Oh, feral weenie dog. Anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I'll probably see you after the first of the year.